In October this year, college students walked out of class to support the fight to free the Jena 6. In Washington Square Park, students from NYU and other neighboring schools shouted and chanted while holding up signs that read, "Justice for the Jena 6." It was cool to see such young people come together for an issue like this one. Check it out and never forget the Jena 6.
My name is Brian. I'm from the new school. I'm 21.
And why did you decide to come out and help support this event today?
Uh, because this, to me, is something that, it talks about racism in America, and that's something that I experience every day, and I know what that's like. So it's something for me that's important to support, and not racism, but the fight against racism. So yeah, that's.
The incident with the Jena 6 actually happened a year ago. Did you hear anything about it back then, or how were you made aware of the situation of the kids in Louisiana?
Yeah, I saw an email about it, and then maybe like 4 months ago, 3 months ago, and I read about it. But I didn't know about it a year ago when it did happen. And I didn't really see any news coverage about it until recently, until the last couple of weeks. So, through email, that's how I found out about it. And through
Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Don't give up.
My name is Angel Folgar. I'm 23 and I go to New School University.
How did you find out about today's protest?
I found it through my peers in school with a couple of my friends. They were telling me there was a walkout today on Jena 6, and I went with them.
How did you find out about the Jena 6 and how do you feel about the topic?
By reading the flyers that were actually being handed out. Otherwise, I haven't heard anything about it. So that's unfortunate. That something this tragic that I find out only through like a flyer as opposed to seeing it through the news.
Why do you think that there might not have been as much media attention given to this subject as opposed to, Britney Spears?
I think a country has a series of histories of either amnesia when it comes to racist ideologies, like when the Constitution, 3/4 of our founding fathers had slaves, but that's not mentioned anywhere. So people say it's an interesting omission. I say, well, it's blatant, racism and the fact that we don't want to deal with these struggling realities.
like some people might get upset, and also I think that it's a tendency in America, especially, to not, show that racism still exists, or like Kanye West said, racism still exists. They just be concealing it, So that's the way they conceal it, is by not giving attention to it, not covering it,
So what do you hope is the result of today's protests and walkout?
Ultimately, I would hope that people become more aware, more conscious of it. I think a lot of people answer their existential question. We do, why are we here, through the arts. So I'm happy that Ali, Technique, and them are going to come speak, because these are people who my generation looks towards as a voice of conscience.
So my name is Tenjiwe Makaris, Rutgers University 22s, but specifically I'm repping the Malcolm X grassroots movement that has really been leading a lot of the coordination, along with Sankofa Empowerment Center, Color of Change, and some other organizations that's been leading this national student walkout. But really the students have really been the strong leadership in this. Students from all around the country, everywhere from Atlanta, Morehouse in Atlanta, to Howard in DC, to Austin, Texas, University, to Rutgers University in Newark, New Jersey.
I'm DJ Shayla, and I've been following this story for quite some time with the Jena 6. And I was in Jena on the 20th, so I was there also in protest, in solidarity with the people of Jena, and also was doing my own reporting with Davey D and Hard Knock Radio, and my own blogging and everything like that. So this issue is important to me because I think it's shining a light using mass media, the highest levels of government, shining a light on the racism and corruption that's in our government.
And what was the real motivation behind trying to organize a specifically student-led movement to support the Jena 6?
It's to reinsert a fact that we've known throughout our history. Young people have always been the backbone to our movement. And Jena 6 has sparked something in young people that hasn't been there for a very long time. And so this is about turning an incident into a movement, right? And so it's not necessarily, it's changing from being reactionary regarding specific incident of police brutality and wrongful incarceration that happens within cities all over the country, and it's turning it into a movement so that young people will be such a powerful force where we will demand that we be respected as young and black and brown people, and that we can't necessarily be beat over the head by a cop or be arrested for defending ourselves against a racist person, and that we have the right to a certain extent to defend ourselves.